We are going to start off assuming that you have two documents. One is the donor table styles, and the other is the recipient table styles. And on the donor table styles, you have tables that are already styled the way you like them and the way you want all of your many dozens of tables to look. And I will show you how to make a donor document like this in a different video. And to do that, you have already set up some text and your regular paragraph styles that you have named something useful like table text. Well, in this case, Kate. I just used my own name as an example. And that you've got your tables also saved as a table design style over here. So I called this one Kate table style. And I'm going to help you out whether you're the sort of person that is going to do all of your captions in the top row of a table, or if you're the sort of person that's going to do all of your captions at the bottom of a table, or I suppose at the top of a table, but separate from the table in a text box. So either way works. I think both look totally professional, especially if you stick to either one or the other in all of your many dozens of tables you're going to have in your long, important document. Okay, so the other thing we need to make sure we have in this donor document is that we have the colors set to whatever, I'm assuming we already have our colors set to your theme colors or your university colors, whatever you're choosing to do for this. And we want to make sure that that's named something. So I'm going to also make sure this is Kate Colors 01, sure. Okay, and we'll start off by doing an example of if you are the sort of person that wants to put your captions in the table itself as a top row. So I'm just going to do a regular Control-C copy on this, and I'm going to go over to our recipient document. So here's our recipient document. We're pretending this is the document that has dozens of tables, or at least many tables, that are done by all different members of your team, so they all look different and they don't look like they match. We're going to fix that. So we're going to start off by pasting temporarily our donor style table. And although you could sometimes get away with a regular paste, to be safer, you should be doing the paste with keep source formatting. So you'll notice, even though we did keep source formatting, the colors do not match. That is because we have not yet set the same color theme to this recipient document. So let's do that. Go to Design, Colors, and there is our named colors that we made sure were saved with a name previously. Good. That made our table have the correct colors we wanted, so that's good. And by copying and pasting this in here, it means I will now see over in my paragraph styles, table text Kate. So that carried over, that's good. So now I can go to our recipient table and do table text Kate. That's good, because when we set our table style now, font size and paragraph styles are not carried over in a table design. So it has to be those two steps. We have to set that paragraph style here, and now we'll do the table design style here. And because we copy and pasted that donor table, there it is. It's in our list of table styles, Kate table style. Click on that. There we go. It's looking quite a bit like our donor table, so that's good. However, in this style, we actually want to have two headers. One is a header, sure, but it's really kind of our caption for the table. And then below that, we have a second header that's kind of the real header. Unfortunately, in these Word table design styles, you can't have more than one header specified. You can look at all these example ones that come with Word. You'll see they all have just one row. And when we dig into the options for setting this up, there just is no option for having a second row. So if you want to have two designated header rows, you're going to have to manually change that color of the second one. But you could do that as a single click. That's not that bad. Even if you have dozens of tables, that's not that bad. You're already going to have to be manually adjusting your column widths, because that also is not something that comes with a table style. And hopefully you know about these distribute columns options, because that can help you get it looking tidy and nice. So if you are going to be manually adding a shading color to your second heading row, I would recommend choosing a scheme whereby the font color of this row as well as the body of the table could be the same. You could do it something different, but you will, if you are going to do a different font color on that second heading, you will also have to be manually changing that each time, because just like how these table design styles don't let you, they just don't let you do anything for a second heading, be that font color or the background color. So, so something like this where it's a light color in the background of the second heading saves you some clicks and still looks quite good. Another thing that you'll want to check on each of your dozens of tables as you go through applying this style is which of these checkboxes up here are relevant to that particular table. It also depends if you set up your table style to have that first column special look or not. In this example, I actually should not have banded rows checked because that's not something I'm looking for. So do make sure to check that up there. Okay, and now I'm going to show you what to do if you are the sort of person who is going to have your tables inside of a text box so that you can have your caption at the bottom, which is totally fine too. I think it looks just as professional, makes it match the style that people usually do captions for figures, which I like. Okay, so I copied our donor text box, just a regular copy. Come over here. We could do this paste with keep source formatting again. Here it is. Since we already have the colors set, comes out good. So everything for the table is exactly the same as we did on the other one. We're going to set the paragraph style, and then we're going to set the table style. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done. So that looks basically the same already right off the bat. We don't even have to worry about a second heading row with this plan. But the thing that's not looking so good right now is the text box itself has these stupid margins, which is the default for text boxes. And I don't think we want those margins when we are only using the text box to hold a table so that we can have a caption. And it's also got this border that we don't like. So we could change that for each time. We could come over here, change this to 0, 0, 0, 0. And we could change the outline to no line. But that's kind of a lot of clicks for each and every one of yours. So I would recommend instead selecting your donor text box that you already did that to make it look the way you want. Click on Format Painter, and then click on your recipient text box. There we go. All those things with the margins and the borders all done in one click. So I think that'll save you quite a bit of time. There you go. Looking pretty good. The other choice you could do is you could select the donor text box, right click, set as default text box. Now within this document, if I go to insert text box and I choose this down here, this just plain old draw text box, it will remember the margins and the cell borders. So you can see this random text is going right up against the edges and there's no borders, but it does not remember the text wrapping style. So each new one you make, you will have to change to square. And now it looks good. But you would have to change it to square each and every time because that's not a part of the memory of the default text box. So that's why I kind of like that Format Painter option. But you've got options. You can use whichever one you like. A nice thing about using these table styles is that if you did need to come up here and change this for some reason, like maybe you decided to change your branding colors and make it darker, something like that, it will update all of them in your document at once. So that's a pretty handy thing about using these table design styles. You will also find that there's probably some custom tweaking you want to do on each and every one of your tables because they're not all the same. Depending on the type of data, maybe you want it right aligned or left aligned. So there's always going to be some additional clicks to make it exactly how you want, but at least you won't have to be setting the cell margins and the top colors and things like that each time, because those you probably do want the same for every single table in your document.